Om Yogis, welcome to a practice today with the Salamander. We're going to be looking at our fire, the area of the solar plexus, the element of fire within us. And we'll begin by finding a comfortable seat and coming into Shitali Pranayama. If you haven't done this before, basically all you need to do is make a straw with your tongue, just curl your tongue and pull the air in that way, like a lizard. If you can't curl your tongue, you can purse your lips, like a... And if that's not comfortable, you can breathe through your teeth. So just sort of smile and pull the air in through the gaps in your teeth. I don't like that one, so I've got sensitive teeth. But you guys choose whichever one suits you, and then start to breathe in through the mouth and out through the nose. In through the mouth and out through the nose. Keep going. Find your own rhythm, close your eyes, just enjoy it. You'll feel as you go that this breath really does cool you down. It's a really nice breath to do when you feel yourself getting overstressed, overheated, over anxious in any way. Just cool yourself down. You know, when our energy is in demand, our inner fires start to rage, and we can burn out quite easily. For some of us, we get very depleted, very tired. And for others, you know, we get very heated and angry and prickly, and we don't so much burn out, but we burn others with our energy. Salamander helps us to balance this, you know, to utilize our fire element and to cool down any excess heat, so that we can deal with difficulty without burning out and without burning others or burning ourselves. So this is a beautiful breath to start with, to help us to balance our fire and to cool down, cool down. So just taking a couple more rounds of that on your own. In through the mouth and out through the nose. Cooling your fire. As you exhale, just let any tension that is held within the body just release as best you can. Or at least come into a state of noticing where there is held tension in your body today. You know, these areas of held tension often start to burn and smolder. Where tension is held, fires can burn inside of us, turn into pain quite easily, and internal fires can cause us to become excessively angry or frustrated and just inflame things, really, you know, inflame the body, inflame the temper, inflame the emotions. So see where there is tension in your body now and start to spontaneously allow yourself to move in such a way as to dissipate that tension, bring breath and awareness and attention, movement to that area. And see if you can move and breathe and be in such a way that you cool down this area of the body now, dropping that Shitali Pranayama if you like, or you can continue with it if you're enjoying it. The dissipation of this energy might look like shoulder rolls, or it could be like shaking out your fingers or your hands or turning your head. It could be a few child's pose or downward facing dog, or rolling on your back, or anything that just feels like it helps you to release any excess tensions, helps you to cool and quell any excess fire. And it's not that we want to turn our fire off completely. We need the fire element inside of us to warm us, to help us to assimilate information and energize us. But we just don't want it to be trapped anywhere in the body, so you're just moving in such a way as to release now. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, come into Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, knees wide. And just hook hold of your toes or hold your feet. And begin to roll your whole body in circles. So you're working with the center of your body. You're working through the solar plexus area. Just feeling it stretch and contract and move. And as you roll in those circles, feel it lengthen and contract between both sides. Just notice what it's doing. It's a complex area here. This area is the storehouse of our prana. We store our energy here. But it's also a digestive factory. So we use a lot of energy here too. And so there's an area where we need to really work upon balancing this area. It's also, we have our identity, and our ego is housed within the area of the solar plexus. And this is what really came to me when I went into this salamander magic. The difference between our identity and our ego, and how, we look to cool the ego, so the ego doesn't burn us or burn others, whilst at the same time stoking and strengthening the fire of our identity, because our identity gives us structure and stability and safety. Let's go the other way. So there's a little bit of a balancing act that goes on for us through the solar plexus area. We want a little bit of heat there to kind of move our digestion, to help us assimilate information, to help us hold our sense of identity. But we don't want to overheat and burn down the factory. We don't want to burn out the warehouse and empty the warehouse of our prana. We don't want to overheat the ego. So it's a complete balancing act. Let's come into straddle fold now. And just push your toes up and stretch out through the arches of your feet. And you can be in as wide or as narrow a straddle as you like today. And just inhale. Start to feel your tummy lengthen as you lift your heart. And try not to lose that length as you fall forward. Like quite often we take the head to the ground, and you can feel as you do this, you'll compress your belly. We want to really give the belly some room today. And as we look at the differences between identity and ego, we need identity to discern what it is that we're experiencing. Who is the experiencer? We need identity to provide us with a sense of stability and structure so that we can experience in a balanced way and not get lost within the experience. So just make a little bit of room for yourself. Give yourself some space to be here now. And through that strong sense of identity and being here now, you can really start to embrace the experience of this pose, the sensations of the pose. And discern what it is that we are experiencing. Identity is crucial for discernment. As you get still here, just notice inside of you the places that might still be holding the fire of your tension, and see if you can breathe in such a way as to cool that fire. Maybe even come back into that Shitali pranayama, breathing in through the mouth and out through the nose. Feeling that breath cooling you. Feeling that salamander balancing the fire in your belly. And then when you're ready, inhale here, exhale, come out of that. Keeping your legs in straddle, we're going to come into a side stretch. So bring your left hand just to the outside of your left leg and just gently side stretch over, keeping your right hip planted as best you can. So you're taking a nice deep stretch along your right side. Lovely, and then come back to center when you're ready. Drop your right hand to the outside of your right leg and side stretch the other way. Just testing that out. And then in your own time, you can start to just alternate between the two. Inhaling as you side stretch. Exhaling back to center. Inhale over to the other side and exhale back to center. Just thinking about fueling that area of the solar plexus, moving this area, bringing a little bit of energy to this area that houses our identity. We want our identity to burn brightly. This helps us to feel safe in the world. And our own identity doesn't really affect any other being. It's different to the ego. Two identities are able to coexist with each other in harmony, equally. There can be happiness two identities together. The ego is different. The egos struggle to coexist with other egos, and this is the difference. Identity helps us to feel safe and strong and secure, whereas ego helps us to feel separate, really. More than or less than the other person. Above or below the other person. Not equal to. It's a bit of a balancing act to say, well, what are we doing here with this movement? Are we fanning the flames of our identity, strengthening our identity, or are we cooling the fire of the ego? Beautiful. When you're ready, let's extend the left leg. Come back to center. Sorry, went a bit fast then. Extend your left leg forward and hug your right knee in. And we'll come back. We'll come into a twist here, twisting towards the right knee. And you can resume your Shitali Pranayama here, in through the mouth, making that straw, and out through the nose. Ego is the insecurity that makes us feel above or below another person. Yeah, it's a spiritual misunderstanding that often happens, that we talk about dissolving the ego, but not so much do we talk about strengthening the identity. Without a strong sense of identity, a person can easily lose power in your solar plexus, or even worse, become sort of psychologically unbalanced. We need a strong sense of identity that keeps us safe. But the ego keeps us separate. Let's inhale here. Exhale back to center. And we'll swap the legs. And just do that same twist to the other side. As we just sort of like twist this way and twist that way, with this salamander kind of looking through our solar plexus at the difference between what is our identity and what is our ego. And are we cultivating a strong sense of identity through which we can purify the ego? Because without a strong sense of identity, there's no solid ground to stand on. This confusion reigns. So it's your choice today, you guys, as to whether you choose to, in this moment, use this pose to strengthen the sense of identity, or maybe you feel the fire of the ego in your tummy that is making you better or worse than another, and you wish to dissolve that or quench that fire. I think that's the wrong word, but you can use your Shitali Pranayama in through the mouth and out through the nose if you're not doing so already, just to cool that fire down. This fire that we all have, that I don't believe ever goes away. We just all need to learn to work with it and know when it is starting to burn out of control. Beautiful. Let's inhale here. And exhale, come back to center. Beautiful. That's lovely. Let's come back to having your left leg straight and your right knee bent. But this time take the right leg a little away from the body so that you don't need the hands to support you here. And let's just twist towards the bent leg and extend your right arm back. And as you inhale here and exhale, come back to center. As inhale, twist. Exhale, back to center. Just keep going with this. Inhaling, twisting and reaching. Exhale, coming back to center. As you do this, focus on this area of the belly, the solar plexus area. As we were talking about in part 1, we're looking at discernment and the discernment of the difference between the identity and the ego as we move into this area of the solar plexus. You know, we want to purify the ego because the ego keeps us in separation. So we want to, cool the fires of the ego so they don't burn us when we put ourselves under another, and they don't burn others when we put ourselves over another. This is what the ego does. But as we purify the ego, we always want to strengthen the identity, because the strength in the identity keeps us warm and keeps us safe and keeps us strong enough to do this. So as you work with this, reaching and centering, work out, which one are you working with today? Are you working with purifying the ego? Have you felt yourself in your ego recently? Or are you working with strengthening your sense of self, your sense of identity, the seat of your power in your solar plexus? Or maybe it's a bit of both. Gorgeous. Just take one more round here. And then when you come back to center, just swap your legs over. And we're reaching back with the left arm now as we twist. And then coming back to center as we exhale. So inhale, reach and twist. Exhale, center. Concentrating on this area of the tummy, this area of the solar plexus, the place of the fire element inside of us, and looking at the fire of the ego that can burn us or burn others, as opposed to the fire of identity that keeps us warm and safe, and also, provides warmth for others and stability for others. There's nothing nicer than having a friend who really knows who they are, who's really stable and strong in that, steadfast. And, predictable is the wrong word, but straightforward. Then, you understand their identity, you understand who they are, and you can trust that. So identity, keeps us warm for ourselves and warm for others. Whereas ego brings us into separation, quantifying and competition. One we strengthen as we purify and, cool down the other. It's a balancing act. We're balancing our fire. Take one more round like this, you guys. Lovely. And then let's come into Janu Sirsasana A. Have your right leg bent and your left leg straight, but allow this Janu Sirsasana to be more spacious than usual. So rather than folding over the straight leg, we're going to fold through the middle of the legs. to fold in between your legs. And just let go here, just relax. Send breath and attention and awareness to any areas of tension, any inner fires that are smoldering inside of us. Any inflammation. Really making space as well for this area of the tummy. Notice, if you tend to take your head down, what that does to the tummy, it compresses the belly. So keep the head up and just stretch through the belly as best you can. As we look at identity and ego, we see that the salamander balances and cools the fire of the ego with the element of water. So salamander can live on water or earth, and they hold the element of fire. So, they cool the ego with the water element, and they build and ground with the element of earth, the aspect of identity. So we're cooling the ego, we're grounding the identity. Identity helps us to assimilate information, to digest information in a balanced way, whereas ego distorts information, blocks it, makes a ton of assumptions, makes everything personal. So use this pose and use your breath to either, strengthen the identity or cool the ego, whichever one, is more present today or feels more pressing. Beautiful. Then we'll just come back up to center and just gently take your left arm to the inner left leg. And you can take your right arm up and side stretch over, and maybe you can touch your toes, maybe not, it doesn't matter. Just take a side stretch here. And then just walk your right fingers out between your legs, straight out in front of you, so it's sort of in the center line of your body, opposite your left ankle, and stretch it away. And as you inhale, reach up, and as you exhale, bring it back down again. Inhale, reach up, exhale, bring it back down again. Allow your body to move in such a way that you feel, this movement and this stretch working through this area of the solar plexus. You're fanning the flames of a healthy sense of identity. Or you might be cooling the fire of like a blowtorch ego. Blowtorches everybody. You choose. And whichever one you choose, don't beat yourself up. If you feel that you have, lost your identity, you're not the first. Or you have like a weak sense of identity, you're not the first person, believe me. And if you feel like you've got kind of a blowtorch ego that burns you or burns others, you're not the first person either. It's really universal, actually, this problem. Beautiful. Then come back to center, come out of that side stretch and come back into Janushasana A wide. So you're stretching through the center line of your body. So it's like you're not stretching over the straight leg, you're, in between your legs, stretching forward. Make that bit of room for your belly, no collapsing here. This area of the solar plexus, you might have already discovered this through this practice, that is an area of collapsing. We dump into this area, we sit down, the hips move up into the area of the solar plexus, and the body kind of collapses into it if we spend a lot of time in chairs. If anything's happening in our lives that's stressful, we clamp down through the belly, bringing tension. So we're kind of trying to counter that here by pulling ourselves out of that tendency to collapse and breathing through any little fires of tension in the body. Beautiful. And then let's swap the legs. We're going to do exactly the same thing on the other side. So this time the left leg is bent, and we're just going to not fold over the straight leg, we're going to fold in between the legs here. Breathing. Breathe in such a way that cools the fire of your ego. Feel the moisture on your breath, the element of water, cooling that fire. Feel the ground underneath you, giving you solid foundation. The element of earth helping you hold your sense of identity. Make room for your belly. Release the hinge of your jaw. Lovely, and then let's come back to center when you're ready. Bring your right arm down to your inner right leg and start to side stretch over. Your left hand may touch your right toes, or maybe not. Doesn't matter. And stretch out your left hand in front of you so it's, parallel to your left ankle and stretching forward. And as you inhale, lift it up. And as you exhale, lower it down. Are you fanning the flames of a healthy identity? Are you saying to yourself, hey, it's okay to be me? This is okay, this is who I am. Or are you cooling the fire of a raging ego, a raging inferno that is the human ego? You choose. But don't judge yourself for what you choose. Beautiful. Then release that. Come back to center and come back into that nice wide Janushirasana A. We want to be warmed and not scorched by our inner fire. So as you stretch out here, just close your eyes and feel your own fire warming you. That healthy burn. smoldering, passionate inner fire, functioning inner fire. Gorgeous. And then just come back to center, come back into straddle. Again, pull your belly out of your pelvis before you fold. Try to make room for that belly today. And once you find your fold, you might want to come back into Shitali breath. In through the mouth and out through the nose. It's very salamander-like, actually. Little lizard breath. We're working in the solar plexus, this area that gets overheated, with this breath to cool this area down. We're also working to counter any tension and collapsing in this area that is also really common. Stay with your Shitali breath. Notice how as you do this breath, you are actually bringing moisture into the body. You're working with the water element to cool that fire. So draw that moisture in through the mouth and out through the nose. And then on your next inhale, you can forget the breath now. Inhale, just come up halfway, and exhale, slowly make your way out of that. And then just bring the soles of your feet to your mat. Sit with your knees bent and your toes down, and just use your hands behind you to support you as you just let your knees fall to the left and then to the right. Swaying the knees one way and then the other. Looking at the difference between, ego versus identity. Can we make a distinction here as we go left to right? You can imagine your ego to your left, maybe this destructive kind of blowtorch fire. This is the fire of an unchecked ego. It's never right to burn another. It's never right to burn yourself. The first rule of yoga is ahimsa, non-violence. We can't justify that, we should be purifying the ego at the point where we feel that is necessary. And then to your right, we look at digestion, identity. Healthy digestion is a well-stoked fire. We want to have a strong sense of identity so we can digest things in an even and balanced way. And discern what is happening in an even and balanced way. When we're operating from the ego, we have no discernment. So this practice, we're moving left to right. We're going this way and that way because, it's such a dance. Dancing within the flames of your solar plexus chakra. Lovely. When you're ready, come to center, grab a block and come into a supported bridge. And come into Salamander. Salamander, even breath. So if you're inhaling for 4, exhale for 4. If you're inhaling for 5, exhale for 5. The block is underneath the sacrum, and we're using this prop to open up the seat of pitta, fire, identity and ego. So in other words, we're using this pose to expose the soft underbelly for an honest exploration of where we're at. What are we doing through our solar plexus chakra? Using some of vritti, evenness of breath, bringing balance to this area. This is the magic of the salamander. The salamander can balance out this fire. And you might want to stay in supported bridge, but maybe lift and lower, alternate legs. So if you're lifting, as you inhale, lift your left leg, and exhale, maybe lower it. Inhale, right leg, exhale, lower it. And you can move as quickly or as slowly as is comfortable for you here. I kind of love this in the context of a salamander practice, just because I just think it's not the salamander that does it, but those lizards that move one leg up and then the other leg up so they can stand on the hot sand. They're mastering the element of heat and fire. And in a way, we're mimicking that here. Notice where there might be tension, compression, or collapsing in your body. Know that where there is tension, compression, or collapsing, fire builds. So work to a relaxed evenness and balance in yourself. Work towards that. Work to counter any tension, either by adding breath or awareness or relaxation. Counter any compression by adding, more integrity, and counter any collapsing by adding more integrity, discerning where you need more space for yourself, strengthening your sense of self, your identity. Taking up some room for yourself, some space for yourself. You can come back to just a standard bridge now. And you can stay here if you want, or you've got the option to hug one knee in towards your chest and extend the opposite leg away from you. So you're stretching over that block. And you can feel really welcome to change the level of the block if you like, just to give yourself more comfort in the pose. Asking yourself the question, do I need to fuel the fire of my identity? Stoke the fire of my identity a little more? Or do I need to cool and calm the fire of my ego? How do we tell which one we're in? The ego separates. The equal cannot be equal to. It will be above or below another. The identity just is. The identity can hold its own without competition, without quantifying, and is not threatened by another identity. See if you can discern the difference as you stretch over this block. is if you're thinking about this and you're saying, well, yeah, but if I'm in my identity, la la la, that will create ego, la la la. The reality is you're probably in your ego. So, a friend of mine, she said, maybe identity is beingness. Just in your state of beingness. The ego is interested in being right. The identity is interested in being. Let's just bring both legs back to bridge for a second. Take your time. And then when you're ready, swap the legs over so you're hugging the other knee in and extending the opposite leg away, stretching over that block. And just really letting yourself feel your solar plexus chakra here, the soft underbelly. When we look at the solar plexus chakra, we can sort of tell where we're at with it. A balanced solar plexus, if our solar plexus is balanced and healthy, we burn with purpose. We're fired by our imagination. We have passion, we bring warmth to others, we feel safe in ourselves. That's a balanced solar plexus. If your solar plexus is over-functioning, you might get irritated and prickly in all kinds of different ways. So you burn in a different way. There's a different kind of fire there, the kind that says stay back. If your solar plexus is under-functioning, you might get stuck on treadmills. There's not enough fire, you're burning out. You can't digest anything, can't make any decisions, there's no energy. This is under-functioning solar plexus, so it's just interesting to kind of take a little moment now and just, how often do we do this? Go into our solar plexus and say, okay, what's going on in there? How have I felt recently, and how can this relate to this center of energy? Lovely. When you're ready, let's come back to bridge and just lift the hips, move the block out of the way in your own time, and just slowly start to lower your hips to the floor. And now take your feet mat widths apart, so you're kind of in bridge position, but you're very wide with your feet. And try to keep your legs in position and your feet flexed, so your legs stay in that shape as you just drop your knees to the left and then to the right. So your legs kind of mimic a windscreen wiper on a car. One knee kind of comes across as the other knee kind of comes down. It's a different kind of twist. And just use this action just to massage the adrenals, around the kidneys. This is an area of fire build-up for all of us. We all have a lot of adrenaline running. Most of us do. We just want to kind of dissipate this a little bit. Moving left to right. You might want to visualize a golden yellow color starting to emanate now from this center. You're just feeding your solar plexus with golden yellow light. Helping with any underfunctioning, helping with any overfunctioning, or helping you to maintain balance in this area. Beautiful. Then when you're ready, come back to center. Bring both of your knees together and up towards your chest. And then just let them drop to the left for a supine twist. And when you're ready, come back to center and drop them to the right. And just move in your own good time. Just dropping your knees left and right. You're working out any kinks of the ego that's still kind of present. The raging inferno of ego that every human being has to deal with. As you move here for yourself, strengthening your core identity, which is essential for us to remain balanced and stable. In our psyche, who are we? What are we experiencing? Without the who, how can we know what? So as we work out the kinks of the ego, it is imperative that we continue to build a strong sense of identity and strengthen our core identity. Beautiful. Then just come back to center and take a moment in Happy Baby. Stay with this golden yellow color and feed yourself. Feed your solar plexus as opposed to feeding your ego. See the misconception, the difference between you, your identity, your beingness, as opposed to your ego, your position. Your authority, your unworthiness. Feed yourself now, feed yourself that golden yellow light, feed your solar plexus, just balance out this area. And from here, if you want to come into Shavasana, you can, but we're right at the end of the asana practice and about to do a guided visualization for the solar plexus chakras. We're just going to take a couple more little stretches before we do this guided visualization. Let's just bring one leg up into the air. Use a strap if you need to, or you can hold your ankle, your toe, your calf. And let the other leg either extend down towards the bottom of your mat or the sole of the foot can be on the ground. Just taking a gentle hamstring stretch here. Imagine that top leg like a lightning rod. And energy kind of coming in through that lightning rod to strengthen your sense of self. This whole practice has been, there's a few themes, I guess, running through this, but one of the main ones is the difference between our sense of self and our ego, and how we want to strengthen that sense of self whilst we work on purifying and recognizing and mastering the raging inferno that is the divine human ego. So as you lie here now, just let every aspect of yourself that helps you feel safe in yourself sort of run down your leg into your being. Strengthening your core identity. Feel these aspects running towards your core, towards your solar plexus. And you can swap the legs when you're ready, doing exactly the same thing on the other side. This leg stretching up like a lightning rod. And maybe today your practice, you felt your ego more than your identity, or vice versa. There's no judgment in either. We all have kind of days of both. If today you've been feeling your ego, you can let the rain from the storm run down the lightning rod and just cool the fires of the ego. Allow the heat of the ego to dissipate here. Gorgeous. And then when you're ready, let's take both of your legs down to the ground. Bring the soles of your feet together and your knees go wide for a supine Baddha Konasana here. We can come into alternate nostril breathing. Prop your legs if you need to. Make sure that you're comfortable. And it's your choice today. You can use your thumb and your third finger or any finger to close off your nostrils as you do this exercise, or what is sometimes equally as fun is to just will your breath to move through one nostril and then out the other. So we're going to inhale left first. Find the top of your inhalation, then swap nostrils, exhale right. Inhale right, and exhale left. So we inhale, left nostril, swap, exhale, inhale, right nostril, swap, exhale. So the pattern is we swap, we exhale, we inhale. We swap, we exhale, we inhale through alternate nostrils. As you breathe here, feel the breath begin to balance you. This is the magic of the salamander, this ability to balance the heat, the fire inside. Feel the earth supporting you, the earth element support you. And feel the water element through the breath. Feel the breath touching the self that is 70% or so water anyway. Feel all of this water cooling everything. Cool everything down to a soft and beautiful glow. Feel your solar plexus balanced, burning with passion, purpose, fired by imagination, bringing warmth to yourself and to others. As you breathe here, on your next exhale, exhale out of your left nostril. Then come back to your normal pattern of breath. Now, if you're comfortable like this, you might want to go into this guided visualization in Supta Baddha Konasana. You might want to stretch out for Shavasana. If you need to get blankets or props or pillows, just pause me and make sure that you're comfortable for the next sort of 15 or so minutes. Ensure that you won't be disturbed. So really make sure this time is a time for you. You know, there's real power in that, actually. You're really holding your sense of worth when you carve out chunks of time that are just for you. Holding a sense of self and identity, which is really healthy. And now find a comfortable position in which to sit down or to lie down. It's your choice. Whatever you choose, arrange your body as symmetrically as possible. And then relax. Let your body relax. Relax. Close your eyes. Find your belly and start to breathe in and out from your belly, from the solar plexus area. So as you inhale, you feel the belly gently swell. And as you exhale, you feel the belly gently contract. You might want to take a couple of exhales out through your mouth. Letting yourself relax a little deeper now. If they're not closed already, close your eyes. Breathing to and from your solar plexus chakra. Just visualize now the solar plexus colors filtering into this area. A bright, clear yellow. A beautiful golden yellow. Allow these colors to surround you from the space of your solar plexus. And feel as these colors wrap themselves around you, they warm you. And your whole body feels more vital, more alive. Imagine now that you are sitting on a hilltop near the sea. And you see pine trees go right down from this hilltop all the way to the water's edge. And following those trees, there is a bay with a wide and sandy beach. You feel the sun on your skin, warm and golden. And the sea is many colors of blue and bluey green. It is clear and the waves are gentle. And from your vantage point here, you can see a little way out to sea is a small island. This island is covered with trees. And it seems to be almost perfectly circular. You start to make your way down to the beach now. You take in the sounds, the smells and the beauty that surrounds you. You take off your shoes and explore the sand at the water's edge, letting the gentle ebb and flow of the tide wash over your feet and ankles. You feel the warm golden sun upon your skin. And you look again at the island. The island that seems a lot closer to you from here. The sun is shining on the sea and making a pathway of light over the water towards the island. And you decide now to follow this pathway in the way which is possible in dreams and meditations. The pathway of light literally becomes a bridge that you can walk over to reach the island. You walk over this bridge of light. Eventually arriving there on the island, you follow a path through the trees, which feels like it's leading you towards the center of the island. As you move towards the center of the island, you're wrapped in a deep sense of inner peace. And you relax a little deeper. The ground that you are treading on seems to be hallowed ground, sacred ground. And as you come to the central point, you see that there is a clearing which is perfectly circular in shape. At the center of this clearing, there is an indentation which has been carefully and beautifully lined with yellow and gold crystals. And within this crystalline basin burns a strong and steady flame. As you come nearer, you know that you are approaching the very center of your being. You find somewhere to sit so that you can watch the reflection of the flame in the crystal hollow. You feel centered and at peace. You are in touch with your basic identity, totally accepted in every way. You know that this flame is your flame, and that it has the power to strengthen and validate your identity. It has power to strengthen and validate your energy and sense of purpose in life. You stay here with your flame, the power of your flame, in silent contemplation, just for a little while, sitting within the center of yourself. Eventually you feel yourself returning to the edge of the island. As if just floating back to the edge of the island. And then feel yourself walking back along that sunlit bridge, that golden causeway, across the sea and back to the beach. Coming back now to the beach, back into an awareness of your breath in your body. Breathing a little deeper now, coming back. Back into an awareness of your body on the ground. Back into an awareness of your presence in your everyday world. Remembering that you can always return to the place of the flame when you need inner strength and self-confirmation. You feel that circle of light over your solar plexus chakra. Really feel that light over the solar plexus chakra and that light of your identity burning a little brighter. And you can take that light now into your life with you to strengthen you so you don't feel so vulnerable. As you resume your normal life, you feel a little stronger, a little more self-assured. With so much love. Namaste.